South Korea held its breath. It was April 2024. The presidential election was on everyone's mind. The Conservative People Power Party had lost ground. The Liberal Democratic Party, energized and hopeful, sensed victory. When the dust settled, a new leader emerged. The Democratic Party candidate had won. Celebrations erupted across the country, but in the shadows, a storm was brewing. Whispers of a stolen election began to circulate. Fueled by anger and resentment, a narrative of conspiracy and fraud took root. What should have been a peaceful transition of power began to look dangerously unstable. President Yoon Suk Yeol, facing the end of his term, made a shocking move. He declared martial law. The date was December 2024. Citing unsubstantiated claims of election fraud, he plunged the nation into uncertainty. Tanks rolled through the streets of Seoul, soldiers patrolled major intersections. The world watched in disbelief as a beacon of democracy seemed to teeter on the brink. Yoon, once a symbol of hope for conservatives, had become a lightning rod for controversy. His actions triggered a constitutional crisis. The National Assembly, outraged by his power grab, acted swiftly. The allegations of election fraud were explosive. They centered around voting machines, absentee ballots, and alleged foreign interference. Sound familiar? Yoon's supporters, echoing Trump's "Stop the Steal" rhetoric, took to the streets. They demanded a recount. They called for the election to be overturned. But there was a problem. Evidence was nowhere to be found. The National Election Commission conducted multiple audits. International observers monitored the process. The result? No widespread fraud. The claims, it turned out, were baseless. So where did these baseless claims originate? Look no further than the dark corners of the internet. Right-wing YouTubers, with their inflammatory rhetoric and penchant for conspiracy theories, played a central role. These online personalities, capitalizing on existing political divides, peddled misinformation to a receptive audience. They spun tales of a rigged system, a deep state, and a globalist agenda. Their videos, shared widely on social media, bypassed traditional media outlets. They created an alternate reality, one where facts were fluid and evidence was irrelevant. A familiar playbook echoes of Trumpism in South Korea. The parallels were impossible to ignore. Yoon's supporters, many sporting MAGA-like hats and waving American flags, seemed to be drawing inspiration from Trump's playbook. The language, the tactics, the grievances, it all felt eerily familiar. This wasn't just a domestic issue. It exposed the global reach of Trumpism. The movement, fueled by right-wing populism and a distrust of institutions, had found fertile ground in South Korea. Faces of discontent, key figures fueling the crisis. One figure loomed large in this saga, Reverend Jun Kwang-hoon. A firebrand evangelical leader with a history of inflammatory remarks, Jun became a vocal supporter of Yoon. He used his platform to amplify the election fraud claims, urging his followers to reject the results. His sermons, often laced with anti-communist and anti-liberal rhetoric, resonated with a segment of the population. He became a spiritual figurehead for the movement, further blurring the lines between religion and politics. International tremors, a ripple effect of distrust. The crisis in South Korea sent shockwaves across the globe. Allies, particularly the United States, watched with growing concern. The situation threatened to destabilize a key ally in a volatile region. It also raised questions about the future of democracy in the face of rampant disinformation. The international community, already grappling with the rise of authoritarianism, faced a new challenge. Democracy under siege, the perils of disinformation. The events in South Korea serve as a stark reminder. Democracy is fragile. Disinformation is a potent weapon. When lies are allowed to fester, when truth is eroded, the very foundations of a free society are at risk. The South Korean crisis is a cautionary tale, a glimpse into a future where facts are malleable and trust is in short supply. It's a future we must all fight to prevent.